Jagex has just released the Project Rebalance items and combat adjustments. This is the third installment now, I believe, behind the NPC defense changes and then the skill one with like agility and stuff. So this, I believe, is the big one that's a bit controversial. So we'll have a quick scan over it now and see what happens. Anxiously eyeballing your bank. Yep. Wondering what changes Project Rebalance will bring to your favorite bits of... Who gives a shit? All right, here we go. Item combat adjustment summary. Let's get straight into it. They are buffing magic, basically. They're buffing the Soulreaper, Axe, Inquisitors, and Elder Maul. They're nerfing the Ancient Godsword, Occult, and Voidwaker. And they're adjusting drop rates on Lizardmen, Shamans, and Nightmare. Minimum hits, Autocast delay, Theater of Blood, and Baba and the Monkey Puzzle Room. Right, this is fucking spicy. Okay, let's have a look. All right. Here we go. Before we get started, please note that the tomes of Fire and Water will be adjusted as per our previous blog. That's fine, so they won't be rehashing those changes here. Makes sense. Mage Gear and Occult Necklace. The Occult Necklace does an astronomical amount of lifting from magic's damage output. Let's be honest, not really up until the Shadow came out, but sure. To make a long story short, we think that an item this powerful should set you back more than 800,000 GP. For example, let's assume two players both have 99 magic and a fancy bit of barrows. Player A equips an Occult Necklace for 800k and calls it a day. Player B equips Ancestral Set, a Magus Ring, and Eternal Boots. Gotta rock the Fashionscape and turns on Augury, which sets them back 454 mil. Now, who do you think kills the melee Barrows brothers fastest? Okay. If you answered A, you're correct. And we hope you understand why the situation seems a little, more than a little unfair. Time to break the Occult Necklace's stranglehold on magic gear progression. Alright. There are already too many necklaces in the game for us reasonably make them less common. I mean, that's a bad example using barrows because, like, magic fucks barrows even if you weren't wearing any of that gear. So, like, people kill Barrows brothers wearing fucking melee, right? I'm sure you can get better. Like, if you said Olm's Hand, which you have to mage, I'm sure that the Occult would not win that fight over the Ancestral, the Magus Ring, and the Eternal Boots, right? I feel like that's a better example to use, or something that's a bit more consistent, like damaging Akka on the mage phase, things like that. Somewhere where mage is actually used on a more competitive level, rather than Barrows where you just wear fucking Darok and Trident yourself through the event. But if that's the example you want to use, that's fine. Personally, I personally am against an Occult nerf because I don't think... I think people overplay how powerful it is pre-Shadow. With Shadow, the Occult is incredibly strong, absolutely, because it's 30% and 40% inside TOA. 10% isn't actually that big of a deal. Like, what's 10% of 25? What's 10% of 32? What's 10% of 40? It's not that ridiculous in comparison because Magic is already just dog shit without the Shadow. I don't know. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, but I personally think it's not that powerful pre-Shadow. But we'll see what they've got to do anyway, and we'll go with it. There's already too many Occults, that's fine. In addition, the Occult Necklace is so powerful that other gear upgrades become less exciting by comparison. I guess so. People cream their fucking pants over 1% DPS increase in game. Yeah, then sit there bank standing and brew sipping through damage they don't need to be brewing down with. We plan to kill two birds with one stone by redistributing the occult stats to other mage gear, which makes sense. That's fine. So basically, what's happening here? We'll see the numbers first. So they're dropping it by 6% to 4%. Ancestral robe sets get a 2% DPS increase each, which makes it 4% each. So that's an extra 6% there already. The Vertis set gets a 1% increase each. Okay, so that's 3% there. Infinity robe set gets 1. Ooh, that's nice. Each. Per piece, including boots and gloves. That's kind of naughty. I like that. Dagon High gets 1%. Also applies to all ornamented versions. I don't know what that means. Ornamented versions. Okay, yeah. That's pretty cool. Third Age Mage increases to 1%. Third Age makes sense. And Augury is going to get a 4% damage increase. Right. Termagant Shadow doesn't multiply accuracy or damage bonuses gained from prayers, so this would remain at 4% increase rather than 12. Okay, that's pretty balanced. I like that. I like they're not considering that. So actually, this is a buff to overall magic. Actually, even if you were best in slot magic right now, you would actually still be better off because Augury is a plus 4%. Yeah, okay, I like that. And like honestly, does this mean Eternal Boots are going to be 1%? That it would have to be, right? If Infinity Robes... No, robes won't include boots and gloves, will it? That's what robes mean. Sorry, my mistake. We'll take that back. Boots and gloves won't have 1%, right? Surely not. That's busted. They won't. Infinity is worth getting. I would say probably not still. I don't know. It depends how accurate it is in comparison to ARAMs. At the end of the day, 1% magic damage is not worth it. It's a bad day to have 1 defense. Surely give it to Elder Chaos as well. That'd be honestly not too bad of a shout. That's big for Augury. The occult nerf is pretty damn big. Well, the occult nerf is big. If you've already got best in slot, or if you've already got like all this gear, the occult nerf means absolutely nothing to you, really. Like, the occult nerf changes nothing at the end game. All the occult nerf does is it fucks the mid game. It's essentially people that have already got it all, not liking that people who don't have it all can do what they're doing. So now they're kind of just they're reducing the power in the mid game / early late game, and it stays the same, if not is actually better at the late game because of the Augury buff. That's really what's happening here. But the Dagonhide Infinity, and not really Third Age, but Dagonhide Infinity buff here is actually really nice. I'm pretty sure robe set must not mean gloves and boots. There's no way that means that. If it does mean boots, then that'd buff the boots, but I don't think they're going to do that. I reckon what they're going to do in the future is give us new boots to look at like they did with the rings with DT2. I ain't got Ancestral and Augury yet. Well, you're on there. Do you golf, King? I do golf, yeah. Their play A and B scenario is them saying, take Month's credit card and buy full mage gear instead. You could just be competitive without grinding out months of cocks. Not really. Their play A and play B scenario is, here's some really, magic reliant gear in content where you can have negative magic bonus and still be mega successful. Bad comparison. That you can like 2-hit the brothers anyway. How are ARAMs compared to Dagonhide? Well, let's look at the stats. Let's have a look. ARAMs equipment. What are the stats here? Let's have a look. Let's just compare. Can you compare on here already? Is there a comparison chart? Who knows? All right, let's go. What's the other one? Dagonhide robes. Okay, let's just go robe top for robe top, right? Because like they kind of have the same metrics as you go down to like bottoms and hats and stuff. Come on, cunt, hurry up. So accuracy wise, ARAMs are still more accurate. ARAMs are still more tanky. ARAMs doesn't have a prayer bonus. So in my opinion, you would still wear ARAMs because 1% magic damage. What's if you say you're wearing the whole set, you got 3% magic damage. What's 3% of your max hit when it's your max hit's 30, right? What's 3% of that? You're not getting a fucking max hit. You might get 1 max hit, maybe. Why would you wear this with no tank and less accuracy over the ARAMs, right? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. 10% of 30 is 3, not 3% of 30. So you'd get 1. So it's really not worth it. But people will look at that 1% and wet their pants. The reality is that the ARAMs are still going to be better than Dagonhide. Infinity might be better, because I think Infinity is more... No, Infinity might be the same, actually. I'm not sure. ARAMs are so fucking solid for how early you can get it. Absolutely. Virtus, however, Virtus and Ancestral, obviously you're going to wear and use, right? At the end of the day. 1% increase is to help MA2 Kate's reach max hits. Possibly, yeah. Absolutely. You'd be right. And with Augury getting a plus 4%, honestly, it does take that into consideration as well now. It might be worth wearing Dagonhide if you have Augury as well. It doesn't matter. So I don't understand why fuck a cult like this. It was a good milestone. Well, it still is a good milestone. It's just, at the end of the day, like I said, the end game of Mage is not changing. This is just damaging the early mid game, which is Jagex has said numerous times they want to kind of put more work into and support, but it's not that bad. It's not really that damaging in the grand scheme of things, because Magic is dog shit anyway until you get a Shadow. So even though you are losing 6% damage until you like pick up your Ancestral pieces, you're ranging and meleeing 80% of your content anyway, right? Because Magic is just fucking garbage unless you have a Shadow. It doesn't matter. Like there's no need to be doing Mage at all. It actually might open people's eyes to in the Inferno and they stop being idiots taking neck switches and just run a Fury, which would be nice to see too. I'm trying to solid cogs. Why can't I make a party? You have to go to the board and click make party. Infinity top is just 22 magic attack and defense bonuses. Okay, so you'd still probably wear ARAMs until you get Augury at least. Once you have Augury, you'd probably consider wearing Infinity and Dagonhide, in my opinion. I'd love for Virtus to be more affordable. I don't think Virtus's price is going to drop after this. How's that shake out damage-wise? Buffed, Occult, Full Ancestral, Augury, 20% magic damage up from 16. Unchanged. Occult full ancestral is 16% as it is currently, yes. So occult full Virtus augury is 14 up from 13. Nerfed occult full Virtus is 10% damage down from 13. Right, okay, yep. Occult plus Dagon High, Third Age Augury, 11%. Oh, that's without Augury, right, okay. Magic damage up from 10%, awesome. Okay, Occult, Dagon High, Infinity, Third Age, 7%, yep. Look, it makes sense. I personally think it's a dumb change, but, I mean, they've redistributed it pretty fairly at the same time, and the fact that they're affecting Infinity, Dagon High, and this Augury change is actually big, so... Yeah, that's going to change things in, like, the Gauntlet as well. That's going to make things very interesting. So, if it adds a max hit, that's all that matters. And half bad, to be honest. The occult being hit by 60% is a bit steep, I think, but the rest is right. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the end game doesn't change. So, the people that no one care about, they will be happy. Ancestral's going up more. Ancestral will go up more, so the price is going to go up more too. So, hold on to your Ancestral. Changes bring the necklace's power a little more in line with its obtainability so that players can feel themselves getting stronger as they unlock the gear. Put it this way, guys. Don't be surprised if in 6 to 12 months' time, Jagex announces a new magic necklace that's 10% magic damage. Don't be fucking surprised if that happens. Because this just opens up that opportunity now, doesn't it? The occult isn't going to be the end-all, be-all of magic necklaces. Especially not after this nerf. So at the end of the day, you're going to see a new magic necklace sometime in the future. That's probably going to give you 10%, maybe even more now. Like, that's going to happen. Absolutely it will at the end of the day. My occult ornament kit, though, gives a fuck. It looks like shit. It's just a smoke devil head. Anyways. Changes bring necklace's power into obtainabilities that players can feel themselves getting stronger as they unlock gear. Additionally, Augury now has greater offensive powers, increasing the value of the Arcane Prayer Scroll. That's really good. That's going to go up in value. We also see utility for robe sets, which are currently best suited for accounts with defense limitations. We want to see Aaron's robes sit in a unique tankier battle mage niche. Yep, with defense that outshines other options in exchange for slightly less offensive potential. In some scenarios, you don't even get a max hit from equipping more offensive sets, so these higher defenses are effectively free. Absolutely. For players with near best in slot setups, these changes buff magic and bring other weapons closer to Turmeric and Shadow. Cool. This approach still has its issues. Magic has traditionally struggled to keep up with the other corners of the combat triangle in PvP. These changes make it even weaker, especially for one defense accounts. We think we could resolve this issue with a blighted necklace slot and a little more damage to the Elder Chaos Druid robes. There you go, Nate. But we'd like to hear your feedback first. There you go. Look at that. They're considering it. They've thought about it. And a blighted necklace slot. That can't hurt at all. I think the next Inferno Coliseum content gives Mage Cape. I'd imagine they'll keep the Mage Cape stuff to the Wilderness. And that'd be cool if they did. Speaking of, we'd also like to hear about other bits of gear that deserve a little boost. We can even work in increments of 0.5% if that helps. Just give us 3 new pairs of boots. Fuck it. We're committed to bringing the occult necklace down a notch, but remember it is still remain best in slot necklace offering for any magic setup and would likely remain affordable. That's a good deal. Yeah, it's fair at the end of the day. Necklace good. Don't make me wear the foreskin hood. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, look, the necklace would be good if they give you a 10% one because that'll, I think it makes sense. If you keep blighted things to the Wilderness and you allow certain buffs in the Wilderness, it encourages PvM and PvP at the same time, right? Like, where you use Mage in the Wilderness, like Scorpio, people are going to use blighted necklaces, aren't they? Soulreaper Axe, here we go. Moving swiftly onto this hard-hitting slash weapon, capable of dishing out some serious damage. We don't plan to increase the damage directly. Here's what we're going to do instead. Stacks will no longer be lost instantly upon switching decriminating after 20 ticks, 12 seconds, without attacking, up from 10 ticks. When stacks naturally degrade, they'll heal you for the damage you took while building their stacks up. So it actually becomes twice as... You have the stacks twice as long. You don't lose them when you switch weapon. And when they are lost, you are healed. What this means is... If you are in the Wilderness and you see someone running at you with an axe, you're dead. And if you see someone running at you without an axe, you're goddamn right they've got a fucking axe with max charges in their fucking inventory, and you're dead. Okay? You have 12 seconds to fucking live. But otherwise, in PvM, that sounds really a lot more manageable, especially at places like Vardavis as well. So that's not fucking bad, man. They're really good changes because the axe is already super strong, right? So... Making the charges more manageable makes it a lot more useful. And then you can switch to spec and switch back and serve your charges. Time to get an Elder Maul? I've already got 2, mate. Effectively, we're making stacks easier to maintain and removing the overly punishing stack drain when switching weapons. Makes sense. This does indirectly buff the Soulreaper's damage output, but also means you'll no longer run out of stacks, and people will want to use it more. I like that. So when waiting during intermission phases in some boss fights, such as Verzik's transition between phase 2 and 3, makes sense. See more suggestions regarding the Soulreaper axe, but right now our focus is improving its usability and ensuring it doesn't lose power every time you switch gear. I like it. Elder Maul. The Thunderous Crush weapon is a mega rare drop from Chambers of Xeric, but its PvM use cases are far and few between. Barring a brief moment in the sun where you will discover the 1-0 method for taking down Olm's hand. It's hard to bring a slow, hard-hitting weapon in line with other main hand options because our combat system rewards speed. 5 ticks with the Scythe, Twisted Bow do a fantastic job, but even slower 6-tick weapons require a max hit that would level half of Varrock. Very true. No, you aren't. Sorry, what's this for? Probably sits between Whip and Scythe now. Not when you're chilling doing Slayer, and one of the big mid-game uses for magic is Barrage Slayer, and no way you camp Augury when barraging. I'm sorry, but it adds progression. You're always camping Rigor Piety when ranging melee. I mean, I don't use Augury when I'm barraging, no. If you're talking about the mage stuff. I also don't wear an occult anyway. I'd wear prayer bonus, but it shouldn't really help Slayer too much, Augury, I don't think, in that aspect. It won't be PvM, it'll be just for bossing, more than anything. What makes the Elder Maul great is that feeling of bringing this behemoth weapon down to an opponent and softening them up for future blows, which is what I was hoping they would do with Tecton. They're still reeling from the impact. Initially, we thought about shaving off a little defense for each swing that struggled to get to a place where it was either totally broken or outperformed by the Dragon Warhammer. Instead, we're giving it a special attack worth 50% of special attack energy, which reduces your target's defense by 35%. That's more than the Warhammer, is it not? The Dragon Warhammer is 30%, yeah? This makes it a lot better defense reduction option than the Dragon Warhammer, and also frees up an inventory slot for scenarios where you'd otherwise use two-handed weapons. For example, if you'd only be using the Scythe of Vitur and a Dragon Warhammer in a raid, you'd be able to skip out on the event vendor and bring something else for an extra slot. That's pretty cool. And it's more accurate than the Warhammer with an Avernic, yeah? Given the prevalence of defense reduction in many endgame encounters, we feel this should give you more reason to bring the Elder Maul out of the bank. Yeah, that's fucking big. I tell you what though, this might sound greedy, but they really should make it guarantee to hit on Tecton. For many reasons. One, the Dragon Warhammer already does, like the first hit. And two, the Elder Maul is, by law, literally part of Tecton. So it's going to, they're going to make it do that. It guarantees the hit. Because that's what they should do. It should guarantee first hit on Tecton like the Warhammer does. That's what they should add to that. That'd be good. Otherwise, you'd still take the Warhammer to Cox, wouldn't you? Because you're guaranteed to hit, you don't have to reset. That's what I would do. So hopefully they do that. I'm sure that they'll figure it out. And if not, then we'll fucking rally for it in Falador. Inquisitor armor and Inquisitor's mace. That's big. That's very nice. I like that. The Inquisitor's armor set and mace are a crush focus set dropped by the Nightmare. Yeah, we know what it is. You generally see people using this set with the Scythe against weak enemies to crush, trading off low defense for a hefty damage output, but where's the mace? While the mace is a strong weapon, it's staggeringly expensive at more than 275 million G. Really? Fucking hell. Its damage output simply doesn't make up for the cost. You'll hear later about how we plan to adjust Nightmare's drop rates to make her uniques more obtainable. But for now, here's how we're giving the mace some extra juice. While using the Inquisitor's mace, damage and accuracy bonus from the Inquisitor's armor, including the set effect bonus, is tripled. In a full set with the mace, the bonus is 7.5% damage and accuracy. That's nice. This change should make the mace feel more worthwhile stepping stone between the bludgeon and the scythe, adding more utility and a rarely seen set. Yep, and it won't cost you what the scythe costs you to swing. It's 4 ticks. It'll be really good on Tecton. It already is really good on Tecton, so that's really nice. I like that. The Voidwaker, okay. This is the nerf. Yeah, okay. When we first said this crazily consistent special attack weapon was on the table for Project Rebalance, we said we wanted to tweak it because completely bypassing accuracy checks in combat could become a limiter for future spec DPS weapons. Although we're still presenting our proposed changes today, we're aware that this is something many of you have spoken out against and will continue to bear your feedback in mind. Our proposal is to adjust the special attack so that it no longer ignores accuracy, but instead rolls with 200% increased accuracy and rolls against your target's slash or magic defense, depending on which is lower. Right. This means the special attack still rolls with triple accuracy and picks the lowest of the two values so that you have the best odds of hitting. Fits nicely with the Voidwaker's melee but magic identity. It also keeps it an incredibly consistent choice in both PvM and PvP scenarios, without being so consistent that it bypasses one of our main balancing levers. Especially keen for your thoughts. Is this only PvM? I thought I remember a while ago they said they were only going to change it for PvM, not in PvP, so it's still guaranteed hit in PvP. I mean that's a fuck ton of accuracy, to be fair. And you've got, yeah, no, look, that's not entirely bad. Yeah, okay. I mean, put it on a beta world and let's test it. Like, it'd be interesting to see how often you hit against something that's normally pretty high defense, and see what it comes up with. We should add zombie to higher level Slayer Masters. But there are no high level Slayer zombies. The G tracker for Inquisitor's Mesh should be funny as fuck right now. It probably would be, yeah. People are gonna shit their pants. If we can beta test it, that's not entirely like a bad change, to be honest. The ancient godsword, yep, okay. So there's a roasting spin on this classic melee weapon. Is designed from the ground up for PvP, although it is does see use in PvM, especially against slash weak monsters where long trips are performed. It's all about outlasting your opponent while still packing a punch. The special attack Blood Sacrifice increases your max hit by 10%, and upon a successful hit, marks your target. They don't move at least 5 tiles away after 8 ticks. They'll take 25 magic damage and you'll heal for the same amount. If your PvP opponent is frozen, you hit them for even a measly 1, you'll ultimately wind up with 50 HP differential. The damage isn't mitigated by protect from melee or magic, so there's actually very little your opponent can do about it. To even the odds, we want to reduce the healing provided in PvP without reducing the Godsword's already limited utility in PvM. Healing from successful Blood Sacrifice now heals for 15% of the target's maximum HP, up to 25. So it'll be 15, in like max PvP, it'll be 15 healed. PvM, it'll be up to 25. Okay. Sure, why not? That really makes no difference for anywhere except PvP, so cool. That's better for you idiots who get fucking attacked by PKs, all the PvMers. This is a PvP update you vote yes on, alright? PvPers, they want to win a fucking poll if this was ever polled. You vote yes on that. 100%. Still leads to a 40 HP differential in PvP, but stops fights stretching out without counterplay, even when your opponent is playing perfectly. Fair enough. Got to hold a funeral for the Dragon Warhammer. Not at the moment. We'll find out. It says it's something down here. The Ancient Godsword is basically unchanged in PvM. Yep, except in rare cases we're fighting low HP targets, and it isn't really designed for such counters anyway. Perfect. Alright, so the rest of the changes focus on other aspects of PvM. Dragon Warhammer. Alright. The quintessential grind item is the staple for those taking their first foray into PvM. Unfortunately, it's not that common. Those men shamans aren't hard to kill. So the whole hours long adventure can also be quite boring, which is why we're making the following change. They're dropping the drop rate from 1 in 5,000 to 1 in 3,000, which, let's be honest, doesn't fucking matter. You're still going to go dry. You're still going to do 10,000 kills and still come up short. But look, that's good still. I'll take it because copium. It's effectively an 80% increased drop rate, since a 100% increased drop rate would be 2,500. Yep. Which we feel is better suited to the mid-game upgrade required to chase more challenging uniques. The other thing is, right, is while this is absolutely a good change, and the Dragon Warhammer is a great weapon, bear in mind, people, that it is not necessary in any content at all. You can do every piece of content in the game without one. The only thing I would say that you really need it for is like a solo challenge mode Chambers of Xeric. Now, you can just have teammates that bring one, of course, but you don't need a Dragon Warhammer to complete content anywhere in the game, except I would say if you're doing solo CMs. Otherwise, it isn't actually like that important. Go ahead and try the content. If someone doesn't want to bring you along because you haven't got a Dragon Warhammer, that's not someone worth playing with. Tell them to suck a dick, find someone else. Like, it's not that difficult, man. It's really not that powerful. So just keep that in mind when trying to search items and feeling like you're restricted from doing content. You don't need it, man. Oh, you got your occult of 3,120 KC. GZ, it's getting nerfed. Sit down. Nightmare and Fasani Nightmare. These bosses are tough and the uniques do the heavy lifting in terms of rewards. However, the uniques are so rare that players don't feel either variant of this boss is worth their time or the supplies. To add to the issue, the Nightmare's uniques are mostly niche or underpowered, which doesn't exactly justify their rarity. We've already spoken about making changes to the Inquisitor's mace, so we're adjusting drop rates to provide for uniques, which will provide the other half of the equation. Sounds good. Getting a better Dragon Ball Hammer through Elder Maul would be so sick. Yes, if you're an Iron Man, you still have to do Cox for it. It is a mega rare, so you probably are better off going for the Dragon Ball Hammer still. But if you're a main, you just fucking buy up an Elder Maul and you're good to go, man. They've got to nerf TOA drop rates on Fang and Light. It's almost also improved general loot. Getting 76k from a fucking forger is ridiculous. Yeah, but you're looking at it at value, dollar value, right? You go to the drop table for TOA, and it doesn't matter. Like you're not rewarded in gold. The raid doesn't look at your effort, look at your invocation and go, this guy deserves 500k loot. You roll a certain item, and then that quantity of item is reflected on what you do, right? So if you're getting gold bars, lilies of the sand, and coconut milk, that's low value. But if you're getting the highest possible roll of those items, then you did good. Well done. You just got a shit item roll. That's not like anything but the raid's fault. So that's not the raid's fault. All raids do that. That's just RNG at the end of the day. Your 76k loot doesn't mean shit, right? You got the highest possible roll. You just didn't roll a good drop. Just like you didn't roll a purple at the end of the day. Like that's just the way it is, man. That's that. You got to stop looking at drops from rolls by the exact dollar value, because otherwise you're just going to be fucking disappointed with every raid, and you're going to sit there depressed, annoyed, and still doing shit content. It's not worth it, man. Like, just it's either purple or it's not at the end of the day. That's the only way to look at it at the end of the day without being fucking annoyed. I don't mind the shit items. They all have some niche uses. Yeah, I mean, you can get some. It depends if you're an Iron Man as well at the end of the day. If you are, you get more use out of it. Alright, here's the specifics. The Inquisitor's Pieces and Nightmare Staff loot table has a 1 in 90 chance to roll, improved from 1 in 20. 1 in 120, okay. The Orb table is 1 in 450, improved from 1 in 600. The Inquisitor's Pieces for Fasani Nightmare is a 1 in 150, improved from 1 in 200, okay. And the Orbs are 1 in 720, improved from 1 in 960. Alright. I mean, yeah. They're 50% more common. Huge. Dragon Ball Hammer just dropped about 6 mil. What? Dude, the market's crashing. Of course they're going to fucking drop. Look, items are going to go all over the place for the next, week because of this blog post. Don't sell your gear. Stop panic buying and panic selling. Just chill out, everyone. Alright? Here's an important piece of advice. When content like this comes out, when blogs come out where they're discussing what's going to change in the future, it doesn't matter if you're going to make a quick 10 mil or lose a quick 10 mil. You're still dog shit. Your gear doesn't matter. Your bank doesn't define you. You're still garbage at the fucking game. Who cares? You got a Warhammer? Good. Keep it. Because you're going to use it. You're going to want it. You're going to have it. You don't have Inquisitors yet? Doesn't matter. You'll get it one day. Just use what you got. Go do some content. It makes no fucking difference. It's the best advice anyone can give you. Because it makes no fucking difference, man. When do these changes hit again? You probably won't see these for about a month at least. Because they've got other changes to implement still. Minimum hit adjustments. Okay. For those of you not in the knows, old schools work. Yeah, we know how it works. Okay. So basically what happens is you hit or you miss, right? And if you hit, you can still hit a 0. So your max hit is it's between 0 and your max hit instead of 1 and your max hit when you land a hit. So you can still hit and hit a 0. What they're doing is essentially removing that hit 0 roll. So if you hit, it's now between 1 and your max hit instead of 0 and your max hit, which is actually a just overall across the game for everyone a damage and accuracy boost, regardless. Right? We propose that any successful hit should guarantee at least 1 damage, but we still feel there are further changes required. Okay, let me back up a second. Hold up. Thing is, increasing either the minimum or maximum hit by X will increase the average hit by X2. We're actually increasing the damage output for every single weapon in the game, and this change would be disproportionately impactful for multi-hit weapons like the Scythe. Alright. As a result, our changes are focused on improving the feel for early combat and improving the readability of combat in late game. On hit, damage rolls between 1 and current max hit. For example, if your max hit is 58, your damage rolls between 1 and 57. Right. So this DPS unchanged aside from the extremely early stages of the game, which should feel more better. We're also conscious that some account builds may be disproportionately impacted by the change. In response, we're looking to introduce items especially for those players, which will let them continue on as they always have. So, if I'm reading this correctly, what they're doing is they're increasing your minimum hit by 1 and your max hit by 1 across the board, right? So, am I reading that right, or is there something I'm missing? That's essentially what they're doing, yeah? If your max hit's 58, it's going to be between 1 and 57 now, no matter what. Why would I do solo when I can just send it with friends and get better drop rates and faster kills? For Sunday Nightmare? Yeah, on paper, solo for Sunday Nightmare is faster than doing... Faster purples than doing 5-man nightmares. Technically, yes. For your individual rates. Increasing minimum hit, decreasing max. Right, that's what I'm reading, yes. But it's only by 1. Am I retarded, or are they taking away the possibility of hitting a 0? Did they? No, they're adding... You can still hit a 0. But if... So, you have... Paint's coming out, boys. This is it, alright? You can either miss your attack, or you can hit your attack. Okay? These are your two choices other than mage with splashing, alright? When you miss, it looks like this. Okay? Everyone's familiar with this because we all fucking do it. Alright? That's what a miss looks like. And a hit looks like this. Okay? Not many people know what this looks like. We don't do this very often. Alright? And this can be anywhere between... Well, let's say it's your max hit. Your max hit is 58, right? Let's say that's your max hit. Now, hit can also... Hit can look like this, sorry. Let me rephrase this, okay? Your hit can look... Say your max hit is 58. Your max hit... Okay, your hit can look like this. Or it can look like this. If you hit, it can actually look like that. Alright? What they're doing, this is currently how it looks. What they're changing it to is this. Okay? we're gonna run out of space here. I apologize, I didn't mean to do it so big. So this is old. Old. This is new. Alright? Now, say you've got the same gear, same stats, same everything, okay? This is what the new one's going to look like. This is new miss. Okay, this is what miss is going to look like after the buff, alright? Like that, and we're going to have a nice 0 in the middle. And then this is going to look like this. Alright, nice little star like that. Beautiful. I love how there's star shapes too at the top of it just used. Alright. Alright, this is what your new max hits, or your new hits are going to look like. This is going to look like... 157. Alright? But you're not going to have... This is not going to be here, okay? That isn't going to exist anymore, okay? That's what they're changing. Does that make sense? Paint skills to explain stuff is so chef's kiss. I mean, look, it's better to draw a diagram so everyone's on the same page. That's what they're doing now. They're going to get rid of this, but to get rid of that, they're also reducing the max hit by 1. So the 0 hit spot is changing from a 7-point star to an 8-point star. Save that one for later, just in case. It's my little paint folder of RuneScape paintings. Yes, that's what they're doing, okay? Nightmare changes are live? No, none of this is live yet. That's what they're doing. So your DPS doesn't actually change. You just see less zeros. So actually playing the game is going to be nicer. Should have always been like that. Yeah, but this game was made in 2001, so they never, like, they were too busy worrying about World Trade Centers and shit back then, you know? So it's different. Early game combat prayers. So in other early game news, we're making changes to thick skin, burst of strength, and clarity of thought, sharp eye, mystic will. They'll look more like the names you came up with for your band you always wanted to start in high school. Who the fuck wrote this blog? Actually, the first tier of players unlocked. We'll forgive you for being unfamiliar with them, because certainly, currently they're not strong enough to feel worth using. Okay, so what are they doing here? They're reducing the drain rate of thick skin, burst of strength, and clarity of thought, sharp eye, mystic will from 5 points per minute to 1 point per minute. Adjust sharp eye, burst of strength to boost your range and strength level by 1, respectively, if they're lower than 20. Okay. So no one cares about that shit. That's early game garbage we don't care about. Autocast delay, this is big. So currently, how it works is if you are using... I just missed a genie. Fuck! If you're currently casting spells in-game, alright? Okay? It's fine. 5-tick attack cycle. But there is a delay if you're autocasting. If you have it set to autocast, there's a delay on the first attack. So the first attack, your guy goes like this. And then starts casting. But if you manually cast, your guy just turns and casts at the same time. That's why it's good to have it to manually cast. It's really strong in PvP. And it just helps you save ticks. That's why when you're doing Warcraft, even though you take the Slayer Staff to... you take the Slayer Staff to autocast on the spawn in Warcraft, you should still manual cast because it's 1 tick faster so it doesn't get to you as easily, you know? And it's just good practice. They're removing that delay. So instead of your guy turning, looking, and then casting, your guy will just turn and cast at the same tick, which is really nice. It's a nice quality of life change. It's way fucking better. There's zero downside to this at all. Big change. They probably should have done this a long time ago, to be honest, but that's cool. Now, verzik P2. Solo Theatre Blood enjoys are retarded and have expressed frustration that the disparity between how verzik's mechanics are handled in normal and hard mode. We're fixing that. Okay. If only one player is left alive during verzik's second phase, only one Nilo red crab is spawned. Awesome. This change isn't just for solo players. Should your team meet untimely end during phase 1, you should now be able to clutch it out. That's honestly fucking big. Like that. That's a big fucking change to Theatre of Blood. Yeah, that's big. I like that. Nice. All around. Alright, Baba, here we go, boys. There's no escaping the dreaded monkey room. That's not what you want to hear. The prayers to the Menophyte Pantheon have been answered. Okay, increase hit points for all style-based enemies inside... What? Increase hit points for all style-based enemies inside... What? No, why are we increasing hit points? What? Increase hit points for all style-based enemies inside the path of... What? Enemies will now always take their max hit damage when attacked with the opposing combat style. I don't care. Why are they increasing the fucking hit points? Assuming you're in a solo raid, this is how the HP values and max hits will shake out. 25 and 30, always max hit by magic. But you've nerfed the occult. 30 and 35, always max hit by melee. 20, 25, always max hit by range. Why are they increasing the HP? It's fucking dumb. It makes sense. Yeah, but they could do it without increasing the HP, could they not? You missed a line? No, I didn't. I read them both. They could have not increased the HP. It would have been fine, right? More HP, you get more points in raid. You know what? If that's true, then yep, I'm gonna shut up. That's fine. Fair enough. Good call. Yep, more points. Less time in that garbage raid. I like it. There are stronger and weaker variants of the NPCs indicated by the 2 HP values in the list, and the HP totals will scale with the group size and raid level. Of course, the end of the path of awaits Baba, extremely potent melee attack. Since we're here, we may as well take a swing at it. Baba now only hits 25% of the damage through prayer. Down from 33? So reduces the damage by around 33% through prayer is insane. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. They could have removed the room, but this is what we get. Look, if they're increasing the HP, which means we get more points and we guarantee max hit, then that's actually big. I didn't think about the points. So yeah, that's a big drop, but that's an insane fucking number. This should prevent players from losing so much DPS to Red X through those looking. Although those looking to save supplies will find it isn't removed entirely. Awesome. Good blog. Fat W, to be honest. I don't think that. I think the one thing I want to address is the Elder Maul. I think it should guarantee the first hit on Tecton, just like the Dragon War Hammer, especially because 1, the Dragon War Hammer does, and 2, the Elder Maul is literally a part of Tecton. It makes perfect sense. So Jagex, if you can review that and make that part of this update, that would be fucking big. Everything else, I don't think I have much to touch on. I've never been a fan of the occult nerf. I like how they've distributed the damage around. I like how they're bringing Infinity and Dagonhide robes into the equation, along with the cape and augury to give you different choices over armors, which is really nice. I want to know if the Infinity includes boots and gloves. I doubt it will. I don't think it does. We'll assume it won't. I have more onyxes from Cox and purples. That's rough. I think the Voidwaker change as well doesn't sound as bad as we all thought it was going to be. I think it's not bad. I think this is overall a pretty decent change. Still like 270 hours to get full Inquisitors and Mason for Sunny. Yeah, absolutely. It's still a grind and a half, but they can't just give the gear out at the same time. You'll just fuck it into the ground in the economy. But if it brings more people to the Nightmare and more people to Inquisitors, that'd be good. Wait, is Inquisitors going up in value, by the way? Thank you, dear. Appreciate that, man. Is Inquisitors going up in value right now? Because I may or may not have invested quite a lot of money into that I need to go and sell. Not really? Okay, I'll hold it for now. Oh, the mace maybe is going up, right? The mace is? Okay, cool. Voidwaker going down at the moment. Yeah, of course the Voidwaker will, of course. But look at it this way, guys. At the end of the day, don't sell shit. It's up to 310 alone, the mace. Nice. Don't sell shit just because it's crashing or just because there's a nerf coming. It's not healthy. Like, it's not a healthy way to play the game. If you've got a Dragon Warhammer, keep the Dragon Warhammer. It is still powerful. It is still usable. It's still something you're going to want. Don't sell it because it's crashing, because you're still shit. Okay? Just remember your garbage and you won't have a problem. I don't want to see people crashing items, selling them, then they go back and they're like, oh, I lost some money. Yeah, don't be a dickhead. Don't listen to him. Panic buy, panic sell, stonks. No. Buy rare shit when it's cheap. True. That's what you want to do. Big W update so far by Jagex. I like everything here. I just, yeah, my feedback is obviously around the Elder Maul and the Voidwaker, I think, more than anything. No, the Voidwaker was good, sorry. I don't mind that. The feedback's around the Elder Maul. And I don't think I had much else to say elsewhere. I think that's pretty good. I think we can all agree that this is a nice update. I'm looking forward to it whenever it comes into the game. Excited to hear your thoughts and feedback regarding everything we discussed. We're making these changes to relieve the most common frustrations. Yep, huge thank you to everyone. Yeah, gives a fuck. Alright, cool. Good luck. Keen to see that come to the game. I like it. I like it a lot. This is the easiest move in the raid. It's quite simple. You got a big boy. Look at him. God damn. Fuck me. Look at that boy. It's huge.